Hi, everyone. Professor Patrick Scullin here from Riverside City College in Riverside, California. I wanted to take the opportunity to talk to you about the creative process and break down how I work. And it might help you understand a little better how you can approach a project. So I'd like to show you that with a few examples. All right, so when you're working on an illustration in this case, there are a few things that you can do to improve your results. And so for me, that creative process follows kind of a sequence of events. And I want to kind of break it down for you. So here you have a poster design I did recently for the San Diego Comic Con. I wanted to do a little poster that was kind of friendly and fun and showed what the experience used to be like to go to a convention. And I got a couple cosplayers here, Batman and Catwoman, and they're enjoying their sunny day out in San Diego. And so, how did I arrive at this poster design? Is the process I want to break down for you. So it all starts for me on Pinterest. Like every other person out there who plays on Pinterest, I'm not embarrassed to admit it. What I like to do on Pinterest is browse. And what I do is I look for inspiration. And inspiration is all around us, whether it's in art or design or even interior design. There's all kinds of stuff out there, and people have shared everything. And so, what I do is I make little collections of the things that I like, whether it's the artists I like or design styles I'm interested in. And I keep those together. In fact, this page I called Whimsical because it's just a collection of kind of retro art done by a variety of different artists from different eras, whether it's a little bit of animation or it's a little bit of Disney design or a little bit of art by Mary Blair or others. I like to collect that so I have something to look at. And I'm not doing this to copy. I'm doing this because putting that visual information in my mind helps me solve visual problems. And then it's just fun to look at stuff. And I mean, we're artists, we're designers, we like looking at things. And so looking at things is how we learn things, right? So then what I'll do is I'll try to hone in on a specific style that is particularly interesting to me. And so in particular, I really like Mary Blair as an artist and a designer. If you look her up, you'll find out she was very influential on Disney and played a big role in putting together what you see in the Disney parks and even the films that she worked on. And so for this case, I wanted to do something kind of retro and whimsical and fun. And so I looked at a lot of Mary Blair artwork. She was also really excellent with color. Uh, I learned more and more about color by looking at her work than I do others. She was able to put together high contrast, interesting color, but it didn't clash and it was never too busy. Another artist I like is Josh Engel, otherwise known as Shag. He has a cool retro style that I like as well. So this poster design became kind of an homage to both Mary Blair and Josh. The next thing I like to do, because I'm an artist and an illustrator, is I like to sketch. So I like to work out my thinking process on paper. So this is something that a lot of students avoid, is they avoid this doodling process. I think that's a big mistake because what you're actually doing is you're avoiding um, what I like to call happy accidents. Because when you just go straight to the computer and start typing things and grabbing pictures and putting things together, you're kind of losing the ability to think through a visual problem. You've kind of allowed other things to influence your design. In other words, you're going to pick that font because it happens to be installed on your computer. You're going to use that picture because you just happen to find it, or you're going to use that graphic because you just happen to make it. That really limits your choices. I think it's better instead to think through something visually in a very rough form first, so you let your mind's eye work on the problem, and then that reservoir of images and things you've collected over the years kind of comes forward and helps you think about what to do. So here you see some doodles done very quickly as I start to think about how I'm going to make this picture look. Then I start collecting my reference. So for me, it's very important to have reference images. Those reference images tell me what my things are going to look like. And so in this case, I'm collecting pictures of the San Diego Convention Center because I can't remember off the top of my head how it looks, but I want to have these images as reference points so that I can build them into my design. Sometimes, again, just looking at the crowd and thinking about the experience of being at Comic-Con helped inspire me and think about what cosplayers to put into my design. Once I have that information, my rough sketch, and then my visual reference, that's when I start going to my drawing stage. And so for me, I like to work, nowadays I like to work on my iPad. I use my iPad and my pencil, and I start working digitally. And what the benefit for me with that is that I can isolate different drawing segments on different layers. And so that means I can scale things while I'm drawing. That's really helpful. Being confined to a piece of paper and a pencil, of course, is, the way we all work, but having the ability to move and resize things is really helpful for me in this stage, because I'm doing that. I'm changing things, adapting things as I go. And you can kind of see the silhouette here of the building, kind of the trolley, and the couple as I was trying to build up the idea of where things would go. But as I was doing it, I kind of came up with two different ideas, two competing ideas. One was to have kind of an average couple here walking, thinking about the time they spent at Comic-Con, and then actually to have the couple in their costumes. And so I kept trying to think, okay, which one would be a better idea? Would it be kind of reminiscing and remembering Comic-Con, or would it be, at the event? Ultimately, I showed you the finished piece where I settled on, Batman and Catwoman, but I couldn't shake these two ideas, so I ended up making both. Next, what I'll do is I'll take that finished drawing and I'll take it with me to Illustrator. In this case, I built it up in Illustrator. So I use my sketch as a background inside Illustrator, and then I start tracing over it with vector shapes and creating those characters and fine-tuning what they're going to be. This is a great thing for me because I don't like working on a white blank background in Illustrator. It's really hard to do that. It's much better to have something to work with. And so having that sketch is kind of a nice little background net that catches me as I'm working on my graphics. And here, like I said, I have the two finished posters, tweaked a little bit depending on the concept, and you can decide which one you think is better or not. But I liked having both options available for the event. So that's my tip, is to work through that process, to do some research, look for inspiration, then do your visual thinking, doodling, thumbnailing, then refine your idea, find additional reference images, then go to the computer and finish your work, and then follow your inspiration. Like this, I decided to do two posters instead of one, because who doesn't want to give themselves more work? All right. So those are my ideas and my suggestions for you. Perhaps you can take that to improve your design or art process. It's always a good idea to try to give yourself these steps and figure out your routine. All right. So thanks for listening. Talk to you later.